All right, welcome everyone. I am DeChantell of Yogi in a Trap, and I am walking you to Albright-Knox, beautifully beautiful space. And as usual, we are here for an amazing family fun day, and what better space to be in with all these colorful, wonderful sharings of the art, and we're actually going to incorporate them into our practice today. I'm feeling very like we're going to start high and then we're going to go low. As usual, make sure that you have on comfortable clothing. Make sure you have a water bottle next to you in case you get thirsty. And always stay safe. Remain in a clean space so that you're able to move freely. And I actually brought a little friend with me today, and I'm gonna encourage you to go and get like your favorite toy, your favorite stuffed animal, and just put them on your mat, put them beside you to comfort you during this practice. So I brought my little friend Toto. So Toto's gonna accompany me in yoga today, all right? So we are going to start our practice standing up, right? And we are going to use some of the artwork to kind of persuade us in our body movement and how we're feeling. And there is a painting right here to the upper right side of me that's kind of like going in waves. So we're actually going to incorporate that in our high movement today. And then you'll see a blue painting that has kind of like a circle in the middle. That's going to be once we get down low on the floor, on the mat, we're going to kind of ground ourselves and imagine ourselves in a nice little circle and how it feels to just comfort ourselves in that space. So as we begin, I'm going to ask you to please stand tall on your mat. You're going to place your thighs together. You can let your two big toes touch. And then I'm going to ask you to breathe in, breathe out. Begin to close your eyes slowly. And then you can start moving your feet apart from each other, getting in a more comfortable stand. And then we're going to remain centered, hands at the side of your body. Begin to roll your shoulders back, standing comfortable and tall. We want to make sure that our spine, neck, and head is aligned. So it's kind of like a string is pulling at the top of the center of our head. And this is how we correct our posture and stand nice and tall. So imagine somebody has a string right at the top of your head in this colorful, wonderful space, and they're kind of asking you to stand up tall, mighty like a toy soldier, like a person in a box of M&Ms, Skittles, this beautiful art display. We can imagine ourselves in a bowl of Skittles surrounding us. Remember to breathe in, begin to bend your knees, unbend your knees. Inhale, bend your knees. Exhale, unbend your knees. Roll the shoulders back. You'll notice that when you're bending and you're unbending, sometimes you may shift forward. So you roll your shoulders back and give yourself kind of like this moment to reset. And in this space, there's all these beautiful, colorful circles around us. And just imagine that you're helping the artist paint these beautiful, colorful circles as you're rolling your shoulders back and your knees as the brush is like you're dipping those knees in paint and you're using your shoulders to make beautiful circles that's all around you. And you're inhaling, exhaling, having fun with the artist, enjoying the space. This is beautiful. It's like playful art, a great imagination. How much fun you can have when you're in beautiful spaces with beautiful art. So this is our last time. We're going to stand up tall, straight, center our bodies, roll your shoulders back. You're going to lift the right heel off the mat and lower the right heel. Lift the left heel off the mat. So your toes are touching the mat, but your heel is not. And then lower the left. And you're just gonna kind of rock left to right, getting your body back in alignment, because we were going up and down, so we kind of want to sway left to right, because you just don't have to go one way, right? Your circles, there's this painting behind me, if I can remember, where there's lines going like this. It's kind of like now you're brushing the paint with your forehead and you're helping the artist align the colors. It's like nice, fun movements. And then one more time, inhale, exhale, come back to center, unbend your knees, roll the shoulders back. You're gonna bend your knees and cross your hands out in front of you, and you're gonna bring the arms all the way above your head, standing nice and tall. Your palms begin to touch. And then you're gonna bring your hands down to your mat, bending your knees. This is when bending your knees come in handy, because you learn how to lower the body in a safe way. And just let the tips of your finger touch the mat. And then you're gonna slowly bring the hands up the body, rolling the body up. And this is how you roll your body safely, where your neck and your head comes up last. You roll your shoulders back and gently come up, cross your hands, bend your knees, raise your hands above the head, palms begin to touch. And just gently lower again, bending your knees, letting the tips of your fingers touch the mat. Unbend your knees and kind of stretch out those legs, giving the body a nice stretch, elongating the body. You can rock back and forth if you like. I like to. Come to a standstill. Bring the fingertips to the toes, and bring the hands up the body. Remember, your neck and your head comes up last. You roll the shoulders back, and then bring the head up. Roll your shoulders. You're doing very good. Come to a center pose. You can open your eyes and just enjoy the paintings that's behind us. It's pretty cool. So we are going to begin by going into our warrior pose. So you're gonna step up to the front of your mat, and you're gonna take your right leg and you're gonna come on the tips of your toes. Remember, we're going to lift our heel off the mat, and you're going to bring your right leg up, extend it back, and then let your heel hang. Bring your right hand behind you and bring your left hand in front of you and come into a warrior two. Very good. Remember to take deep breaths, slow breath. You're gonna reverse the palm in front of you, and you're gonna bring your palm all the way up, lowering your back hand to your knee. And then we're gonna come back into a warrior two, and you're just going to extend the left leg, and we're going to turn the other way by turning our toes. And then immediately we reversed ourselves and we're on our other knee. So you're gonna bend your right knee, and you're in a warrior two the other way. It's like reversing your warrior. Flip your front palm, and I want you to see this. The back palm touches the knee, and then raise your hand high to reverse your warrior. This is a good chance for you to see what I was doing behind me. Kind of get the wave hello to all the paintings above the ceiling. Coming back into your warrior two, you're gonna extend the right leg, and we're gonna point our toes forward and bring our hands to our hips. And we're just going to do a forward fold, lowering the tips of your hands on your mat. Let your head hang heavy. Very good. And relax your shoulders. Let your head hang. And then you can take your hands, bring them behind your back. Everyone's doing great. Bringing your hands back, lowering them down to your mat. We're going to walk our hands up to the front of our mat, and we're just going to lower our right knee. And then you're going to raise the palms of your head above your head. Raise the palms of your hands above your head. Very good. This is such a nice pose to ground yourself to. You're going to bring the palms of your hands together, lower them on your mat, and you're just going to raise your right knee, and we're going to bring our right foot back to meet our left. And you can let your head hang. And then we're just going to bring our hands up the body. Or again, safely. Your neck and your head comes last. Cross your hands at your knees. Bring the palms of your hands above your head. And then gently lowering by bending your knees again. Lowering the fingertips. Bringing the hands up the body slowly. Rolling the shoulders back. Head and neck comes last. Just kind of walk it out. All right, eyes open. You're going to raise your left heel, and you're going to raise your left leg and bring this one behind you. And we're going to open back up into our warrior two. Very good. You're going to bring the palms of your hands at the hips. You're going to extend the right leg, and you're going to point your toes forward. And you're just going to do a forward fold, a nice gentle fold, lowering the tips of the fingers on the mat. Let the head hang heavy. Relax the shoulders. You can begin to bring the hands behind your back, letting the hands clasping the fingers. You can bend your knees if you feel like they're too straight. You can rest the body on the knees, move left to right just to make sure you're getting your proper movement in. We're going to lower the hands again to our mat. I forgot what I did. Very good. And then you're going to bring your hands to your hips, and you're just going to gently come all the way up. Very good. Going to come back into your warrior two. Bring your hands to your hips. You're going to do your forward fold, and then you're going to walk your hands. There we go. Walk your hands to your feet, and you're going to lower the left foot, and then you're going to begin to raise your hands above your head. Sometimes it can be difficult to transition. You just start over again. Let that be a lesson. Very, very good. Palms begin to touch. Lower the palms to the mat. Raise your left leg behind you. Bring your left foot to meet your right. You're doing very, very good. You're just going to roll the hands up the body. Remember, the shoulders, neck, and head go last. And just get some free movement. So we're gonna come into our table pose. I thought that would be a good position for this painting right here, because the lines are kind of like shooting and going squiggly. So we're gonna use our arms and our legs just to kind of emulate those movements. So you're gonna come into your natural table pose. I like this because it is like a table, right? So we're just gonna go into our cat-cow position, where you're lowering the head, you're raising the spine, and then the buttocks comes in. And then you begin to raise your head, lower the belly, and you push your butt out. So take your cat and cow movements. Remember to inhale, exhale. Remember, when you drop the belly, the head goes up and the buttocks goes out. And then when you bring the belly in, meaning raising your spine, your head goes in and your body just kind of, everything kind of goes in, you know. So these are great movements to help with alignment as well. So we're gonna come to a neutral tabletop position, and you're going to extend your right leg out. And we're also going to extend our left arm. Remember to bring the belly in, aligning your head, neck, and spine. And then we're gonna lower the knee, lower the hand. Very good. Coming to a neutral tabletop. Again, you're going to extend the left leg this time. Point your toes out. And then you're gonna extend the right arm. Remember to breathe, bring the belly in. And then lower the hand, bend the knee. Now we're gonna go in circular movements, just because that is a hard movement on the spine. So make circles, you can rotate clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever you're feeling in that body movement, just go right ahead. It's very, very nice. So your two big toes are gonna touch behind you, and then you're going to, I'll just show you. Your two big toes are gonna touch behind you, and then your knees are gonna come to the edge of the mat. And we're gonna go into a child's pose, a nice resting pose. All right. Begin to lift your forehead off the mat. Come out of child's pose by bringing the body forward and back into your tabletop position. Remember that your gaze is at the top of your mat. You don't want to look down, look into the body. You kind of want to give a slight gaze forward, or you can look at your little friend that you brought with you to do yoga with you. So again, we are going to extend our leg out, our right leg out, and our left arm. Nice for balance. And then you're going to lower the right leg, bring the left hand in. Extend the left leg out, get my whole body out here, and raise your right hand forward. And then begin to lower. And we're just going to come back into our table position and then go back into your child's pose. It's a rough position to do. Again, begin to lift the head forward, bring your body up, and we are going to extend our arms out, So we're just going to do a nice extension of the arms in the cat-cow position. So you are going to extend the left hand at the tip of your mat, and you're going to bend the elbow, and you're going to take your right hand. We're going to kind of like thread the needle and lower the head on the mat. That's a nice view. The safe way to come out of this is to bring the head forward, unthread the needle, and this time extend your right hand at the corner of your mat. Bring the left hand back, let's say to your knee, and bend the elbow of your right hand and just thread the needle. Very, very good. Safe way to get out of this is to raise the head, extend the elbow, unthread the needle, bring the hands close to the knees, both of them, and you're back in your tabletop position. Everyone's doing very, very good. So you're gonna cross the legs, come to a seated position. All right, so we are going to come into Shavasana, and I'm gonna ask you to lay back on your mat, and you're gonna lay down. Now in Shavasana, this is our final pose, and it's our resting pose. So the hands are at the side of the body. And then this is where you just remain still and calm, and you begin to close your eyes. And you take nice, slow, deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. And think about, what did you learn in your practice today? What did you learn about yourself? As your eyes are closed, imagine the paintings that were behind me. Like, what colors did you see? And how did they make you feel? Did blue remind you of the ocean? Did green remind you of being in the grass? Does red remind you of a fire truck? Does red remind you of like your house? Is it your favorite color? Yellow remind you of the sun. There's so many beautiful, vibrant colors in this space. You can use this moment of grounding to think happy, nice thoughts. Maybe you can imagine what color you want to put on tomorrow, or what color you want to see when you meet someone, like the aura of their space. How about you set your intentions for tomorrow? You could say, tomorrow I want to have an amazing day. I want to have a beautiful day. Inhale. Exhale. We're gonna come out of this. So I'm gonna ask you to wiggle your toes. Begin to move your ankles. Move your knees. Begin to move your thighs. Wiggle the tips of your fingers. Move the belly center. Move your elbows. Begin to move your shoulders. Move the neck, the head. Slowly waking your body up from out of that super relaxed state. You're going to take your right hand and you're going to raise it above your head. You're going to bend your knees and you're going to roll on your right side using your arm as a pillow to hold your head. And then your left hand is on the thigh. Very good. Remember to breathe. Next, you're going to take your left hand and place it in front of the belly. And you're going to take your right hand that you're using as a pillow to help push you up. Very safe grounding. All right, so you're going to come into your seated position. Eyes remain closed. And you're going to bring your hands at the heart center and bring your chin into chest. And remember to breathe. So your hands at the heart center, your chin is in your chest. And we're just going to hear a bell before we close out our meditation. Thank you for allowing me to practice with you today. Thank you, Albright-Knox, for allowing us to be in this amazing, beautiful space. Thank you to the artists who contribute to this wonderful space. This is such a nice design, colorful art. We're so happy to have this in our community and to have community members participating in this experience. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. See you again.